Welcome to SPD Fanatics. I'm your host, Keith Cunningham, and today's special guest is a legend in Christian hip hop with over 13 projects in his catalog. He has collaborated with numerous artists, including Chili Baby of Gospel Gangsters, New Wine, Kobe J, Ice Water Slaughter, Broad Servant, and many more. Since the late 90s, he has been a voice of hope for the streets. Currently, he serves as the CEO of the new Grapefruit Records. Please join me in welcoming Delbert Harris, also known as LiL Raskull, to the show. What's going on, man?
Blessings, brother. Blessings. Good to be here.
Yeah, man.
If your podcast people know, but he keep produce music. He probably ain't told y'all that, man. he send me tracks every now and then, so we well familiar with each other, man.
Yeah, it's a blessing, man, to be able to collab with you and everything, because you inspired me back in the day, man, to get me going and get started.
Amen.
And you still going strong as you was back when you started.
It came to a point, Keith, where I said, man, I'm good at what I do. I don't want to do nothing else, man. So I'm pretty much I ain't gonna always be in the hot spot like I'm not now, right? But I'm gonna always be somewhere around the music, man.
Hey, man, what you know what though? Where would Christian hip hop be without you in it?
Hey, man, from your mouth to God's ears, brother. I hope when I get to see him, he don't say go to hell. Nah, man, it's a blessing, brother. I appreciate that. I'm humbled, man. I'm humbled by that.
Yeah, now you grew up in Trinity Gardens in Houston, Texas. Now, what was it like growing up in H-Town?
H-Town, man, is funny because when we hit the hip hop scene, people was talking about cars and teeth, right? Gold in your mouth and the elbows on the cars, man. But H-Town can be dangerous just depending on where you are, man. And I grew up on north side of H-Town, and we became, Rap-A-Lot Records was like the crown jewel of H-Town. And Jay Prince is from Fifth Ward, which is the neighborhood just next door to the neighborhood I grew up in, man. So, that's the long version of saying, man, it was fun to me, man, but it was dangerous at the same time. Plus, when I was a teenager, right in the 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old age, man, that's when crack cocaine hit the streets, man. So, you had the introduction to hip hop, which, to some people could be fun. That came right at the same time crack cocaine come, man. So it was fun mixed in with danger, brother. That's just the long version of saying, man, growing up in my teenage years, it was dangerous. At the same time, we saw it as fun,
So when did you first realize you wanted to become an MC? What inspired you to pick up the mic?
I always been an artist, Keith. I used to draw, sculpt, potter, potter wheels. You see the little women making pots and clays. I used to do all of that, man. And I went to college and I graduated high school in 1990. Went to college in 91, 92. And while I was studying art, man, I was just listening to some NWA. If I could say anybody that was a huge influence. And it was like, I'm like, man, because up till then you had James Brown, Marvin Gaye, Rick James. I can't sing, can't play the guitar like Prince. I can't dance like Michael Jackson. But here it was some dudes that looked like me. And they giving these dudes a stage and a voice. And, I know a lot of times today in hip hop, an artist may see an artist and say, I want to be like him. I want to be like Beyonce. I want to be like Jay-Z. I want to be like Snoop Dogg. When I saw NWA, I didn't want to be like them. I wanted to do what they was doing. I was like, man, these dudes is on stages and they getting to tell their stories, which was our stories too. Growing up in the hood, just Dodge and Danger. I'm like, man, these dudes are getting to tell their story on stage and the people loving it. And I wanted to do that, man. So I dropped out of college in like 92, man, and picked the mic up. I picked the mic up before then, but I think around 92, I had the confidence to really step out and just call myself an MC at that time.
Yeah, so but you was around now was you around Swisher House and
Yeah.
Paul Wall
I
and
actually got started before them guys, man. I met Paul Wall. He was like a teenager in high school, uh, in the youth group at church, bro. I remember, matter of fact, Paul Wild's youth minister was a good friend of mine, man. And he was like, man, I got a youth want to meet you. And he took me to Paul Wild house, man. Paul Wild was like, look, mom, it's
right.
LiL Raskull. That was my that was my introduction to Paul Wild, man. If you catch him, man, he'll still say, man, I'm a fan. Because he'll tell
Yeah.
you, man, Paul used to be a fan of mine. Him and Chameleon was together at that time. Slim Thug, if you get Slim Thug on the couch in the interview, man, you ask him who he used to listen to. He mentioned me all the time. So I kind of came before Swisher House became Swisher House, right? We were kind of the group, the class that came before them, and they kind of grew up listening to us. And then boom, when they got they machine well oiled, that's when the cameras turned to us here in Houston. So they got that red hot spot. They got a chance to be in it. We kind of came before them, right? And then at the same time, the Lord, I was a gangster rap artist. A lot of people that know me as a Christian rap artist, they may not know that. I wasn't born in the church rapping, right? I was in the streets doing it, man. And God just called me right out of it. And, testimony is kind of unique because it wasn't nothing bad, right? I wasn't going to jail. I wasn't about to die. I was actually getting ready to get a major label deal, man. In the midst of that, God say, nope, right? And I ain't know God at the time. People say, how you know it was God? I just lost all my peace, man. I had no peace, brother. I'm like doing shows, women, weed, money, and I'm just miserable, bro. I'm just sitting around like, and people like, man, what's wrong with you, bro? You about to bubble, you about to do it. And I'm like, bro, I don't know what's wrong with me, right? And I got invited to church by New Wine, actually. Me and him been knowing each other since we was 14, but he had did some prison time. And, I guess he found the Lord in jail. Like, he came out here. How people say he got jailhouse religion, but it was real with him, man. And he invited me to church right along in that space and time when I was feeling like that, bro. When I went to the house of God, I knew it was God. I walked in the house of God, and peace just flooded my soul. I said, man, this God, bro. I don't know what was. Maybe I'm finna die. Maybe something bad finna happen to me. I just know I need to quit, man. And I didn't stop. I didn't stop rapping gangster and start rapping gospel. I actually quit for a short span. I just didn't want to have nothing else to do with the music business. And God let me know it wasn't the method. It wasn't the tool. It was the message He wanted me to change.
That's what I was gonna ask you to take us through that journey of when you
Yeah.
turned a new page in your life, and then
I
when did
went to
you get
church,
your
brother,
first break?
and I'm gonna tell you, Keith, I went to church, man, and I just saw when you born again, and people with carnal minds, man, they may not understand this, but when the Bible say you born again, it's like you see everything for what it is, man. And you see what God meant when He created this and what He meant for that. And when my eyes got open, man, I saw the influence that we were putting in the world. I saw the influence on our peers and people coming up under us through gangster rap. And I didn't want to have no parts in it, man. And I became a good dude. I go to church, go to Bible study, go home. I didn't have a family at the time, so I just quit, man. And I think I attended the church service. What was it? Probably before New Year's '96, or it was around December, probably before New Year's. Because by the time '96 rolled around, I was actually rapping for God. But it was a prophet came to our church, and she was like, she asked the pastor, can I prophesy over him? And I'm like, I don't know what none of this is. I'm a Negro off the streets, right? I just know I found God. Hopefully I ain't going to hell, right? And man, she began to prophesy to me in rhymes, Keith. She was like, God said, come out of the crowd and come into the clouds. And I'm like, hold up, she rhyming, bro. But it was God. The crazy thing it wasn't her saying, she didn't even know I was a rapper, right? She was just speaking to me. And maybe the pastor told her I was in the music business, man. But when she was talking to me in rhymes, man, I knew the message. I felt like God was saying, no, don't stop rhyming. I just want you to take my message. And then, at that time, New Wine used to ride around with me, and he was banging like gospel gangsters and T-Bone. And I'm like, these dudes was going hard, bro. I'm like, man, these dudes, they sounded like NWA and Ice Cube, but for God, I'm like, man, these dudes are serious about this, bro. So when I felt like God was giving me the green light to stay in the music business, man, I wanted to come with that same intensity that I did when I was doing gangster rap, man. And when I heard dudes like Solo and Gospel Gangsters, Chili them and T-Bone, I said, man, that's how I got to put it down for Houston. I can't come with the everybody read your Bible. Hey, hey. That never was me, right? I came out the streets, so I'm like, I got to come with that same intensity. And I did, man. Never look back. I still bring that same type of intensity, to my music.
Yeah, I think I was in Dallas, man, around 90. I think it was 91. No, it was 1990. And I met D-Boy.
Yeah.
And MCG.
Huh?
Yeah, I went to his parents. They had a like a community center.
So you was locked in way before me. That's good, Keith. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm honored, brother. I'm honored because I fell in the game 96. For you to have been rocking with it that long, and you still, you look at me as one of the people that made a dent, brother. I'm honored. I'm humbled, brother. I'm humbled by that.
Matter of fact, I had dropped the project in 94. And then I ended up hooking up with E-Rock.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he came down and we hung out here in St. Louis, man, and he had to show her or whatever, and we went in the studio and did some stuff. But yeah, man, I was around back then, and I was in Texas.
Man, I ain't know nothing about Christian rap. Actually, when I dropped Controverse All-Star, which was my first album, I didn't even know it was a Christian rap industry. I didn't know it was a Christian music industry. That's why I called the album Controverse All-Star, because I knew I had just dropped my gangster rap album like in 95. And I got saved in 95. And God cleaned me up. He did a swift work. And by the time 96, I met Nolly, and he was like, man, I want to sign you to Grapetree. I knew the people who was still playing my music was gangster. And now they was finna hear me preaching the gospel. That's why I named it the album Controversy All-Star. I'm like, they gonna be like, hold up, bro. You was just telling us this. Now you talking about this. So that's why I named it Controversy All-Star. I knew it was gonna be controversial. But I thought it would go back into the same streets, man. I didn't know it would go to a Christian music industry. Nolly introduced me to all that in real time. It wasn't like he sat me down. It was like while we was producing my record and putting it out. That's when he was, educating me to the Christian music arena. And, we was still new, even though you were saying 91 with D-Boy and them. Rap was still new to the church.
Yeah.
They wasn't ready to accept us like they have now, man.
Now, Grapetree was once the best-selling label in Christian hip-hop. It was the largest independent label in Central Texas with over 1 million units sold. Now, how did you become a part of Grapetree Records in 1996 when you dropped Controversy?
Well, I became, me and Nolly met in 95, man. And I gave up rap, right? got saved, joined church, and in between that transition, I had a show booked in Austin. And I struggle with this kid because I'm like, I'm saved now, but this was for my gangster. And I'm like, man, I can't get up there and do that no more, man. But I had already been paid a down payment, right? And Nolly was stationed in Austin. That's where he was living at the time. And he had Heaven's Hip Hop magazine. And he was in the beginning of starting Grapetree Records. He had about 4 artists, which was FaZe, Barry G, K2S, and DDC, Jeff Adams now. So he was in the very beginning stage, and I had this show booked in Austin, man, for my gangster rap career. I was going by the same name, LiL Raskull. I just spelt it different. Mm-hmm. And Wine rolled with me, man. And at this time, I had when I was doing gangster rap, I had my record label. We had a whole entourage. We'll pull up in your city, man, with 2 6-4s on switches, 3 Suburbans on rim, gangsters, everybody smoked out. That's how we used to roll when I was doing mainstream. And I still had this one concert left, man. And I'm like, bro, I struggle so bad. I said, all right, I'm going to go ahead and do it. And I pull up in Austin and I tell the club owner, I say, man, I gave my life to the Lord, man. I got about 1 or 2 songs I'm going to do. And then I'm just going to tell the crowd what's going on. And dude was like, he was like, man, you know, couple days ago, they just shot up a club down here, man. You sure you want to do that? It was like a God test, Keith. And all the time, Nolly came to this show, right? He pulled up with Joe. Said, I had never met him before. This was my first time meeting Nolly. And so I told the dude, man, either I'm gonna do it, you know, what I feel like I need to do, or I'm just gonna leave. And he was like, man, do what you feel you need to do. And he jumped in his car and left his own club, man, because he thought they was gonna ride. It was about 1,000, maybe. The show promoter say it was 1,500 to 1,800 people. I said 1,000, so I won't lie to nobody, right? It was about 1,000 people in the club, Keith. It's the first time I ever, what we call testifying. I ain't know none of that, man. I am a Negro off the street, and I'm using Negro just to. So I don't know who your show goes. You know what I mean when I say that. I'm a Negro off the street, bro. So I get on stage and I'm prowling like a lion. I'm like, yeah, man, y'all know I can't do this no more, man. I done gave my life to the Lord. And I think I did a song called Thank God that I had on my gangster rap album. And like the show promoter, I didn't know what they was going to do, man. I did the song, bro, had a few words, and I ran right out the stage. Out the back door, me and Nuwan followed Nolly to a hotel, and we stayed overnight. I left my entourage from the record label and all that. When we woke up the next day, I met up with Nolly in his office, and he was like, man, I want to sign you, man. That was the first time I met him, right? And he said that he had a dream that an artist was going to turn gospel. And he say in the dream he saw gold. And he say, I thought it was gonna be a gold artist, but my album, my name is written in gold letters. And he said, man, when I seen your album, I believe this is you. And I was like, bro, I am interested, man, because I can't do the gangster thing no more. And I told him, give me a couple months, man. Let me see if I can get myself out of my contract with my label. And that's how I met Nolly, man. That's how I got down with Grapetree.
Wow, man, that's an awesome story, man. So you dropped a lot of hits on Grapetree, man, a lot of hits. So when did you decide to branch out and establish Javo Records? You know, through the years.
2000. Well, it was actually 202, right? Nolly was still around, Grapetree was still around, but a lot of people may not know Nolly was transitioning into distribution, right? We had fulfilled a major label deal with EMI. And, you know, I don't know, Nolly wasn't seeing what he wanted to see. So he started transitioning into distribution. And at that time, I began to take more control of producing my records. And so I started a label called JVO Records. I actually got the name in a dream, and it's just short for Jehovah. It's just slang for Jehovah.
Mhm.
And so Nolly distributed my first JVO record release. We were coexisting at the time. And I think 2 years later, Nolly went bankrupt and just shut down Grapetree completely. And that was like from 204, from 202 to even right now, I started JVO Records, and that's where I continue to do my own stuff. And I onboarded some artists in between that run, all the way up to like 2 years ago when me and Nolly sat down and he gave me the whole logo. Said, "Man, run Grapetree. I wanna reboot it." And God told me to tell you CEO, you run it, man. So
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you next. How did the opportunity to become the CEO of the new Grapetree Records come about? Because you guys got a whole new lineup. What happened to the rest of the artists that was on? Were they still in contracts, or are
nah,
they
man,
still?
when Nolly went bankrupt, man, he kept the masters because I believe he felt he spent a whole lot of money
Mhm.
producing these masters, but he didn't hold anybody into contracts, man. So he kind of just let everybody go. I was one of the few dudes that kept it going. Some of us tried, others did. Antonius kind of kept his ball bouncing. Other ones just stopped. They just quit. And so Nadi still had all these masters, man. He had 100 masters, 1,000 songs, brother. And I think maybe it was 3 years ago. I'm like college degree, Keith. I didn't done a few jobs. I'm still putting out records, but this ain't our heydays, right? I'm watching these new dudes killing on the internet. They doing all this, and I'm just kind of like doing it, but at the same time, I'm grown man, and you know how they say life. I'm lifing, right? And man, I got tired of lifing, man. I was teaching school, and the school system just like hated me, bro. The kids love me, but the school system just hated me, and I guess it was the effect. And man, I came home, told my wife, I said, man, I gotta do what I'm good at. And at that time, I didn't know what Nolly in real estate, killing it, right? And so I say, well, man, I'm gonna start new Grapetree, right? And so I started new Grapetree. And I'm like, I don't know what Nolly gonna do with the old music, but I'm finna give me a whole new route, and we're gonna be new Grapetree. And I started rolling, man. I put out a compilation record, and Nolly shortly caught up with me. And he was like, bro, it was always my idea to rebirth Grapetree. Let's come together and do it. And so I took the new off, man, and he gave me complete control of not only the company but the masters as well, man. So, and first phone calls was the old guys. Keith, I was like, Prime, what's up? Antonius, what's up? DCP, what's up? But these old dudes got this water on their wood, man. I'm like, man, what's up? I'm gonna put Letterman jackets, bro. We gonna do us a veteran run, and then we gonna onboard some new dudes, man. And so Antonius got down. He was like, "What's up, Red?" Prime took Prime a minute. They both down. They working on new material right now, but I couldn't get the old dude running like I was running, man. So,
Yeah.
and then I had a bunch of young guys like, man, I remember Grapetree. Grapetree was big, man. I respected it, and they wanted to be in. So I just started running the new guys at the same time, man. So in my mind, I wanted to have two campaigns. I wanted the old guys to do their reunion run and then have my new dude's birth. But and I still believe that's the vision. I just think it's taking me a little longer than I thought. I thought it would just everybody would just get excited and take out running with me.
Yeah, I ran into Prime Minister down in Nashville many years
Yeah,
ago with Toby McKeon from DC
yeah.
Talk at a show down there, and I ran into Prime Minister there.
People love it,
Yeah,
man. Every time I post something with Prime, it just go crazy. But the internet go crazy. Him and Antonius. I thought I was the Grapetree hot man. It's like people love them way more. They love me. We all had our. What's different about the game now, man, was you could listen to music back then and know where it came from, right? You knew when
right.
you was listening to a West Coast artist or or Prime them, who was some Midwest, or you knew when you heard Cross Movement, they was Philly, East Coast. You know, you knew when you heard Petty D, that's Florida right there. Now it all sound the same, man. Everybody sound the same, no matter where they coming from now, man.
Yeah, man. You and Wino, you and New Wine was like the dynamic duo, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you all
Houston
think about
belong to
doing?
us, man. Houston
Yeah.
belong to us, man. And I really believe, and this is, it ain't controversial. It is what it is, man. I really believe the spot that Lecrae holds, that was New Wine's spot, right? I think New Wine kind of got, you know, I would say shaking in his faith. He might, you know, you might get an interview with him next week and he'd be like, he lying. Tell that punk I'm gonna beat him up. Whatever. I think he kind of, I think he kind of study stepped in his fate, man. And I believe that white hot spot that Lecrae sit in, I believe that was New Wine's spot, man.
Yeah,
Because he was actually he was connected in this before I was, man. He brought me to Christian rap. And so, you know, me out here still doing it, man. Wine was my, you know, he actually the one who introduced me. I was the first one with a record out, but Wine was in this spot before I was.
Yeah. Do you think you guys ever do a collabo together?
Man, that's a good question. I don't see it, man. It's God's will, brother. It's God's will, man. Wine is in another space. We was boys, right? It wasn't just music, man. I mean, we was like brothers, man. I mean, I've been married 27 years, 4 kids. I was knowing Wine before I met my wife, right? He was in the hospital with the birth of my kids, right? He was the best man at my wedding, man. So we were like brothers, but you know, he took a different path, man, and I chose to stay loyal and faithful to God. So he come back and he could convince me, man, I'm back. He could. He might convince everybody else, but I'm like, get out of here. I ain't finna fall for this bull crap. Hey, I done gave you too many years of my life playing with you, boy. But I don't know, man. It's God's will, Keith. I mean, it would be powerful. I would say that, and I'm not against it. I think it's just you know, it wouldn't be easy to get me to the table as it was in the past. I say it like that. I'm very serious what I do for God, man. I'm in my old age, man. So the play is out of me now, man. I don't have a whole lot of room for play no more, man.
Shout out to your your sons, man. I see that playing football in college.
Yeah, they do their thing, man. I've never played. I don't even play video games, Keith. I don't even play nothing. I got an effing reset because I just do not play, man. But I don't know why. My kids, God's birth athletes in them, right? Both of my sons went to school and college played. While my oldest son, man, he brought home like 2 championships with his collegiate team. You know, I wasn't even rings all the time. I be playing like they mine. I'm like, yeah, I be talking. I ain't even play nobody's football, man. And my son ran. And my youngest son, he went and played football, but he actually went to school for academic scholarship. My daughter went on a track scholarship. You know, she just got a master's degree this year. And all my kids are athletes, man. God, just blessings of God. When people, you know, I ain't no cliche Christy Keith. When people say, oh man, blessed and highly favored, it's in my life, right? You know, I don't argue the Bible with people. I could tell you my life story, and it's God all over it. So, you know, whether people want to, Jesus is black, he was white. The Bible ain't really the word. I don't play that game with people. I could sit here, sit you down, and tell you the story of my life, show you my wife, my kids. Who did it? I'm telling you, it wasn't me, right? It wasn't me and no positive thinking. It was God. You know? It wasn't me and no hustle. I ain't hustle. You know, I ain't about to hustle, man. It's about doing what God tell you to do, man. That's the hustle. You know.
Yeah. Yep. Amen on that, man. Can you can you share with the viewers, man, what's next for LiL Raskull and what's the new lineup looks like?
Man, what's next for me is now they gave me the steering wheel, man. So I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I need to take it to a new height, man. Just as Tim Cook is to Apple, I need to be Tim Cook to Grapetree. So what's new for Grapetree is of course we continuing to run the business, man, but my future plans is to take us into distribution. I'm gonna continue that leg. Also, I'm gonna take us into film too, man. We're gonna have some Grapetree film coming very soon. I'm talking about some 25 stuff, man. And I'm gonna open up Grapetree Film, and we're gonna tell some stories, man. I want to take some of the artists and tell a testimony, put it in film, versus sitting in podcasts. No pun intended, Key. I love your podcast. I can't outdo you, brother. Your set look nice, right? I'm gonna leave the podcast to Key. I'm gonna go see me some films or something, man. So I'm gonna take some of the artists, man, put them in the films. The lineup right now, man, we got Kobe J, we got King Coro, we got Zig Madison, got Roger, Kraus, Angel. Got some UK artists. I'm working with Mag 45 from UK, from African Zambia. In fact, UK, we also got an artist by the name of Josh coming out of the UK, man. So God allowed me to get some international connections, man. And I've been bleeding music out this year, but I got to bring some. Nowadays, Sight and Sound is married, man. So I got to put some visuals behind it and pick out, get our fire back started. So it's the music business is gravely saturated nowadays, man. So, all your listeners, man, they can go and research it. Music is out there, it's fact, but they probably don't know about it because we need to marry that junk with Sight and Sound, man, and stick it in their face, get it out there a little better. But I'm just getting started, man. I'm just getting started, again, to me it's bigger than big records, man. It always start with the music, though. I love good music, I think with the internet game, people kind of more caught up on fame than to me, it start with the music, man. I don't care about fame. I care about when somebody hears something that it bless them, bro. Right? Yeah. I don't care about having 100 followers on IG, man. I'd rather have 100 people in front of me, man. Right? Yeah. And feeling the effects of the music and the anointing.
So how can the viewers contact you and find out about your music and your artists?
All my handles are LiL Raskull, at LiL Raskull. That's LiLRaskull. Cross any platform, that's me all day long. If you message me, you're gonna talk to me. Say what's up. Don't weigh on my time too much. I do have a lot to do, but I love talking to people one-on-one, man. And Grapetree at Grapetree Records on most of your handles. Google Grapetree, right? I'm blessed to be able to say that, man. Google me, right? Yeah. A lot of people say Google me. You got to find them on page 10. If you Google LiL Raskull, you're going to see this face right here. Yeah. I'm going to be number one. I promise you. I'm the first person that pop up if you Google LiL Raskull.
Yeah, your IG is popping, man. You're doing a lot of stuff on there.
I need it. I won't pay for the followers, man. These dudes be paying for followers. But I got some stuff coming up, Keith. I worked out this formula called a PRS, a pure reaction score, man. And what that is, it's a formula that grades an artist based on his following versus his music stream. Because to me, if you're gonna have 1 million followers, you need to have 1 million streams, man. It does no good to have 1 million people following you if they ain't listening to your music, man. And so I try to keep a balance, man. I don't be out here searching for followers. I like people. If you're going to follow me on my IG, please listen to my music, right? I ain't going to show you my wife and my grandkids and my daughter. I ain't finna do all that. I'm going to show you my music and what God said, right? I don't be knowing how chicks get on IG and put a butt picture up and have 1 million followers. Like, golly, that's all you got to do? Right. Been out here for 30 years. I ain't got 1 million followers. But it's all about music with me, man. If you follow me on social sites, brother, it's I play a lot, but it's gonna be mostly about God and the music, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you talking to the viewers, man. And for those who don't know you, introducing yourself to them and stuff. That's
Man, and man, I don't do a lot of media, man, but I never tell Keith. You know that, brother.
I
I
appreciate
try to kind of fall back in media, and not for no particular reason, but I don't wanna outshine my artists, man. A lot of times labels that are ran by artists don't succeed because the artist is he too big, right? Or they too big to where the label mates can't get in, man. So I try
yeah,
to fall back nowadays, man. I love being just the OG to fall back and push the people forward while creating the music, man, that my fans still like, man. So I'm
yeah,
always we was talking about this before the interview, man. I'm always creating music and I'm always drop albums, man. But I fall back a lot, a lot of times when people contact me to do media and podcasts, I'm like, man, he got my artist, he got Kobe J, he got Zig Madison, but you always got me, Keith. You know that, brother. We family, man.
yeah. I certainly appreciate you, man. So to my viewers, if you're in need of encouragement or just want to hear great music, and I'm talking about great music, go check out LiL Raskull. You can
Amen.
find them on Apple Music, Amazon, Spotify. Just Google, like he said, Google me. Google him. You
Amen. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, he'll pop up on all platforms, man. A real
yeah.
real legend in the game, man.